Hi and welcome to my channel. My name is Sibel and I post topics about healing and manifestation on my channel. Today's video is about my own story about depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and my eating disorders, and I feel a little bit vulnerable. But I want to tell you the story a bit more detailed than I did in another video on my channel, so that you can get inspired that it doesn't need to take so much time to heal that took me actually, because all that problems started a long time ago, more than 20 years ago. So I was dating, when I was 18, I was dating a guy who was older than me, and we lived together. And after 3 years, I decided to live abroad to work on my business studies. And he completely freaked out. And yeah, I experienced domestic violence, including sexual violence. And I don't want to share details here because it really doesn't matter. And wasn't the best situation, as you can imagine. But I suffered from PTSD. But I didn't know. I was in the beginning of 20s. I was 22, I think. Yes, 22. And I immediately left the relationship. I went to Portugal and I stayed there for like some time, and I was working there. And I decided I just move on and I will leave that behind me, the story behind me, and I hang in there and I'm strong. And when I thought about what happened to me, I didn't feel anything. Of course, today I know I was traumatized, but back then I didn't know. And what happened? I went out, I met new friends, I pretended to be happy, and slowly I was eating more. Every time when I was eating, I felt comforted, I felt more relaxed. And step by step, it was a build up. I started eating more. And of course, I gained a little bit of weight. I was still in the range of normal weight. But the people I was hanging out at that time, they were quite shallow. And they told me, "Oh, Sibel, you're really cute, but you should lose some weight." So I decided to go on a regime, and it failed miserably because I realized suddenly how dependent I was, how addicted I was to eating. So it freaked me completely out. I still remember it. And I remember as well the first day when I developed my bulimia. I was buying a lot of food and just like placing it on my bed back then in Lisbon and having something to drink, some juice and Coke. And I was literally thinking, what should I eat first and drink first so it won't hurt when I puke? Yeah, I was really sick, and this was the beginning of my bulimia. And every day I was very occupied with thoughts about food, what to eat when, how to lose the weight. And as more as I tried to lose the weight, as more as I tried to control my eating desire, addiction, the worse it got. And I had horrible body dysmorphia. I felt so overwhelmed. I felt so overweight, so big and so ugly, and I was occupied all the time. I was thinking about what other people think about the way I look. And that stayed for around 2 years. I went back to Germany. I kept studying. From the outside, nobody knew. But inside, it was a nightmare. It was really a nightmare until I had up to 10 attacks per day. And yeah, it was the typical. I tried to hide it. By that time, I was living with my grandma for some time. So I turned the tap water on when I was in the bathroom so she can't hear me. I was hiding food everywhere. I felt very ashamed, but I still hoped I can fix it myself. Then after almost 2 years, I told my parents. They sent me to a doctor, and I started therapy, just talk therapy. And we talked about the problem and the problem and the problem. With my knowledge today, I know when you just talk about the problem, it's getting worse because your body thinks it's in the problem all the time. So I don't heal on the subconscious level. But what happened was actually interesting. After some time of this therapy, I stopped having bulimia. And I thought, maybe now I'm better, I'm fine. But then slowly, very slowly, I started drinking more. I went parties. I moved to another city after finishing my studies. And I was like, yeah, I'm a social butterfly. I have a drink here and there. Nothing extremely extreme. I mean, I never like lost conscious. You know, the idea we have about alcoholics, and that's actually wrong. There's a lot of functional alcoholics, and I became a functional alcoholic. So I had drinks on a regular basis, and I needed those drinks. They were my crutch to socialize, to feel happy on the surface, and to get the kick for my brain. The kick I got before from my bulimia. So for a long time, I had this shift addictions, and the therapist, of course, didn't tell me at that time that there is a danger of shifting addictions. That's why now I'm a coach and I know so much better, but at that time I didn't know. So yeah, at a certain point I moved to Lisbon. At a certain point I moved to Egypt, back between Egypt and Germany. And I kept on drinking on a regular basis. And then I decided not to drink for some time anymore. I decided to really quit because I started to drink too much. And I was even drinking when I was by myself, like this glass of wine, you know, to unwind after a working day. My work was never affected. My work, I was doing really fine, functional alcoholic. And then I decided, okay, I will quit drinking. So I quit drinking for 1.5 years, and you can imagine what happened again. Something else showed up. So I got extremely depressed. I had clinical depression until I had a burnout and couldn't work even anymore. I was so depressed, I didn't even want to take a shower in the morning anymore. I took a shower, of course, but it was so exhausting, and everything was just like black and numb and dark, and yeah, because my brain didn't get the kick anymore. So then when I was depressed, I started other stuff. I started getting binge eating disorder. So instead of puking after eating, I just ate. Of course, I gained weight again. I felt bad. So then I decided, okay, let's do the other extreme. And I started not eating for 30 days, for example, and doing detoxes and cleansing. And then I developed orthorexia, that you just focus on really healthy food. I was obsessed with that raw vegan diet. I tried everything. So I went to hypnotherapy. It helped to a certain level, but it never healed me. I tried Reiki. I tried family constellation. I understood everything here, but it never reached my deep system, my soul, my being. I just had the same problem all over again. So at a certain point, like several years ago, I was so devastated. I really didn't know what to do anymore. And then I came across EFT tapping, where you find other videos on my channel, and I will post more about it. And I learned about neuroplasticity, neuroscience, that we can rewire our brain, and that we have to work on our self-concept to really become a different person. And within 6 weeks, I could heal any issue I had. And that was years ago. How many? 5 years ago? And I'm totally fine. I'm totally fine. I can do everything in moderation. I eat in moderation. Even I gain some kilos, I'm totally fine. I do my tapping, I do my affirmations, my visualizations, my meditations, and I am just fine. I'm a complete different person now. So when I talk about the past, it was a different person. I created a new Sibel. I left the sick Sibel behind me, the Sibel who doesn't trust herself, who got abused, who was a victim, who didn't know how to feel the trauma. And with the EFT tapping, I transformed the trauma on a subconscious level very fast, very quickly. That's why I love to teach this technique. And beside that, I established a routine on how to think like a healthy person. And it took really, literally 6 weeks. So that's why I'm so passionate about EFT tapping and manifestation tools. And actually, we're not manifesting, we are choosing who we want to be. God gave us free will. So we can choose every day, again and again, who we want to be. Do I want to be the sick person, the depressed person, the hopeless person? Or do I choose to be the successful person, the person who's aligned with the divine source, the person who thinks positive thoughts? Because our nature is love, and positivity. This is where we come from. So when we get into this negative mindset, we are creating health problems, anxiety, stress, PTSD. We create anxiety, what else? Yeah, depression. All those problems we have, and the food addictions as well. They don't come overnight. Of course, if you have a PTSD, something happened, like what happened to me. But it can be healed within a short period of time, that you don't get stuck in that energy of, oh my God, something horrible happened, I'm fucked for life, excuse my French. So yeah, this is my story. And I'm so happy that I've been working with clients one-to-one now for a couple of years, and all of them healed in a very short period of time. And I feel inspired to share more about my knowledge over the past 25 years now. And if you liked my video, please give it a like, subscribe to my channel. Maybe if you need one-to-one coaching, reach out, send me an email. And I would love to work with you. Thank you so much for your time, and see you soon on my channel.